the descent into danger. Ethan Thompson couldn't shake the exhilaration of his discovery. Each night, he would sit by his campfire, the gold nuggets he'd collected laid out before him, their warm glow reflecting in his eyes. His journal, once filled with observations about the geology and terrain, now brimmed with sketches of the cavern and detailed notes about the gold deposits. Ethan's thoughts were consumed by the wealth he had stumbled upon, and he couldn't wait to return to the cavern to gather more. The next morning, Ethan rose early, eager to head back to the hidden fissure. He equipped himself with more tools, a small pickaxe, additional rope, and extra provisions. The walk to the cavern seemed shorter this time, his excitement pushing him forward. As he reached the entrance, he paused for a moment, taking a deep breath before slipping through the narrow passage. Inside, the cavern was just as awe-inspiring as he remembered. The flashlight's beam played across the walls, revealing the glittering gold embedded in the rough stone. Ethan set to work, prying more nuggets from the rock and carefully storing them in his pack. Time passed quickly, and he found himself deeper in the cavern than before. As he worked, Ethan began to notice strange noises, subtle hisses and rustling sounds that seemed to echo through the tunnels. He dismissed them at first, attributing them to the natural sounds of an ancient, undisturbed place. However, a growing sense of unease settled in his chest. His hands trembled slightly as he continued to extract the precious metal, the thrill of discovery mingling with a creeping fear. Ethan moved further into the cavern, drawn by the promise of richer deposits. The air grew colder and damper, and the narrow passages seemed to close in around him. Suddenly, his flashlight beam caught movement, a slithering, dark shape. He froze, heart pounding, and watched as a large snake slid across the rocky floor and disappeared into a crevice. He exhaled shakily, the realization of the dangers in the cavern sinking in. Pressing on with increased caution, Ethan encountered more unsettling signs. The cavern walls were thick with spider webs, and he occasionally saw the glint of spider eyes reflecting in his flashlight's beam. His anxiety mounted as he stumbled upon skeletal remains, scattered bones that hinted at past explorers who had met untimely ends. The sight of a human skull, partially buried in debris, sent a shiver down his spine. Determined to leave with as much gold as possible, Ethan tried to push his fear aside. He rationalized that the skeletons were likely very old, remnants of ancient explorers or lost wanderers. He told himself he was more prepared, more cautious, and luckier than those who had come before him. But luck is a fickle companion. As he pried another nugget from the wall, he felt a sharp pain on his leg. Looking down, he saw a small snake, its fangs embedded in his flesh. Panic surged through him as he kicked it away, watching it slither off into the shadows. Ethan quickly bound his leg with a makeshift tourniquet, hoping to slow the spread of venom. He knew he had to get out of the cavern and seek help. The journey back through the winding passages felt interminable. His vision blurred, and his leg throbbed with pain. He stumbled several times, barely catching himself on the rough walls. The eerie silence of the cavern pressed in on him, broken only by his ragged breaths and the occasional echo of distant dripping water. When Ethan finally emerged into the daylight, he collapsed onto the rocky ground, gasping for air. He fumbled for his canteen, taking a few sips of water to steady himself. The venom was taking its toll, and he knew he had to act quickly. Using the last of his strength, he stumbled back towards his campsite, each step a monumental effort. As he lay in his tent that night, feverish and weak, Ethan couldn't stop thinking about the cavern. The allure of the gold was strong, but so were the dangers that lurked within. He realized he had underestimated the risks, letting his greed cloud his judgment. The gold was tantalizing, but was it worth the cost? Ethan drifted into a restless sleep, haunted by dreams of glittering walls and the shadows that hid within them.